Hi.
Hello, it's March. Welcome to March, everybody.
March Madness. Whoa,
It
that just escaped my soul.
That was madness for
Well,
sure.
that was indeed madness. Yes, precisely. Hi.
How's your March going?
Oh
Good?
my God.
Good.
I don't know.
All right.
We
I think
probably just went to Canada and my passport was not expired, so it can't be that bad.
let's see what's happening on March. Let me check my calendar. March 1st. What's going on? Because currently it is not that.
Leona will be 17 months that day.
Wee!
Big
I'll
news.
be like 3,000 days, I think,
Yeah.
that day. So excellent.
3,000 doesn't really add up, but
Okay. And then I have a doctor's appointment in the afternoon. Wee! All right. It sounds like it's going to be a solid
we're having
day.
a blast.
Okay, March is going real great.
Swimmingly.
I think.
Yeah.
Other than that, how was your February? You know,
We're trying to get Leona into preschool, daycare, and oh boy, am I just constantly in a heightened state of anxiety. But it's fine.
What does that even look like? I mean, okay, here as someone without a baby, this is what it looks like to me. You have a baby.
Mhm.
I've heard the stories, but I just thought there was no way it was possible. You're giving me the you're letting me feel like this is real, but I've seen on television like you have to start looking at schools like years in advance, like baby like if once the baby's born, you have to like start looking for schools.
Okay. You're onto it because
And then like you have to apply to it like it's basically college.
yeah. I mean, yes, nailed it. So I legitimately don't ever doubt yourself again because that is exactly. Although it's even worse because like the place I was applying to said on the website you can apply when you find out the sex of the fetus. Like that's the
Ew.
earliest. You can't apply any earlier. And I was like, any earlier? Like so and I think they only said by the time you find the sex because it's like a specific week, that you're able to find that out. So I don't think it's like we need to know. I think it's just like that's the cutoff. And so when Leona was born, I was like, oh shit, I haven't applied yet. So I applied like a week after she was born. And I emailed them. So this was 2021. I emailed them a couple days ago and they were like, oh, we'll just tell you when we know. And I'm like, okay, you're giving me like, should I be looking elsewhere? I don't know.
I don't know enough about like the administrative section of this world, but I feel like if you've seen this applicant on your roster since 2021, like you probably know already, right? Like I don't know how it works on their end, but in my mind, it's
they're
like
saying we need to wait to set the classes, and I'm like, okay, but can you just tell me when that's going to be? Like, in August next week? Is there any chance we'll make it, or are we just not even on the list? Like, I don't know.
If it's truly an arbitrary wait list and it's just like when it's your time, it's your time.
Yeah.
I feel like you would be able to predict a few semesters from now.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. Like or how many kids are moving on to the next class or, how many spaces.
Are they waiting to see if your baby's stupid? Like what's happening? What's the holdup? What are we waiting on?
Well, then guess what? So I was like, you know what? I better. And of course, now I'm so late. Okay. Not only is my baby not in utero, she's like walking. And I'm like, uh-oh, I'm way behind. So I started applying to other schools in the area. And guess what? The cutoff is September 30th for them to turn 2 years old. And she was born October 1st. And I wrote in and I said, I don't want to be that parent, so I'm not going to be. I'm going to ask one time if there's any way to test in or like any exception. And they wrote back like, I so wish we could, but if we make one exception, we have to do it for everyone. And I fully understand. And I said, thank you. Got it, But I'm like, really, one day? So they're like, we look forward to seeing her in 2024. And I'm like, I can't do this. It's like so far away. I need her to go to a daycare, a preschool, something.
I'm pretty sure you're about to homeschool this baby.
No, well, she doesn't need to be in school too. It was just to socialize. And she definitely doesn't need more socializing with me and her dad. I think she's gotten plenty of that. But yeah, we were really hoping to get her into like a part-time daycare situation so she could socialize and we'd have some hours free during the day. But, it's not looking splendid. So anyway, I know you just asked how my month was going, but that really is all that's been on my mind.
Well, when we're recording this, it is the happiest day of the month. because it's 222.
It's what? 2?
It's February 22nd.
Us. I'm sorry. I thought you meant when it comes out. I was
Oh
like,
no, the
3,
day we're recording
1. Okay.
this.
2, 2, 2, 2.
The day we're
It's
recording.
special.
I know. So happy 222.
Happy 222.
Last year was 22222. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Hang on. I already forgot how many twos I just said. But anyway, I think I'm just going to start celebrating this now that the year of 2022 has happened. I think I just need to celebrate every 222.
I get it.
So happy 222. I hope today you get a magical miracle where your child gets invited to Harvard or something.
Where her birth certificate accidentally gets changed to a day early. I was was in labor that day. Doesn't that count? She's 8 hours over the cutoff.
Oh my god.
8 hours, but it's fine. I understand, and it's like, they can't
really should have just shoved her out,
I
you're
didn't
being lazy.
know. I should have. Clearly I wasn't prepared. If I had known,
you were being so lazy.
been like, hurry it up. Yeah.
I know.
So lazy. Anyway, hi.
Oy, oy, oy. Well, happy March. It's a new day, and I hope all of the teachers that you're talking to over email happen to listen to our show and then desperately want your Nepo baby to go to their school.
Well, especially the one that said, well, you'll know when you know. And I was like, you don't understand how much worse that makes me feel. Like I thought maybe I'd get like some intel, and like that is less than I knew before, because now I'm just like wallowing. I don't know. I'm just like wavering, waiting for any sort of information. And so maybe if they listen to it, just be like, give it a couple weeks or give it a couple months, so I at least have I don't know. It's fine, I'll get over it.
Gentle listeners, if any of you happen to be in Kentucky and happen to be best friends with a teacher at any baby childhood school, let's all pull our strings together and see what happens.
Oh yeah, just for little Leona. No, she'll be okay. We'll figure it out. I know this is the struggle for every parent, so I don't want to be a special exception,
Well, I'm the funkle. I don't care about all that. I hope.
Yeah. You're the exception, not me,
yeah.
right?
All right, so let's get into our stories, I suppose.
Let's do it.
Eva, shout out to Snaps for Eva all across the globe for finding these stories. Also, Eva did tell us there's a theme. I'm very excited about looking for this theme. And apparently the last one's made Eva cry, which now puts me on edge.
No pressure.
No pressure. I don't know if I'm feeling sensitive today or not. I guess we're going to find out in the last story.
That's a great question. Sometimes I don't know, and then it springs up on me, and I'm like, whoa.
Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, today is just nothing but tears. Like
tears.
I'm just gonna. Allison and I call them our boohoo days, and so it's like, oh, today's a boohoo day, and sometimes you don't have. So I don't know where we're going.
We'll see. It'll be fun to find out together.
All right, I'm gonna go first, and
Great.
I think I've already figured out the theme because in the subject line it's in all caps.
Yeah. It's basically every single subject has this word in it. So
Okay, well, we cracked the case. Okay, so here is the first story. This is from Natalie, who uses she/her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns. And the subject line is Synchronicity March. Boy, do I have one. Oh, so I guess we requested synchronicities.
I must have. I feel like that's the thing I would have shouted about.
Absolutely. Okay. So Natalie says, hi all. I've been listening since the very beginning, literally since episode 5.
No.
What was episode 5? Was that the Smurl poltergeist, I
Something
think?
probably dumb. I'm not sure.
And I knew I had a story for you. Was I right? Is it Smurl?
Sorry. The Smurl poltergeist and John Wayne Gacy.
Look at me go. Oh, that was the
hitter.
day you learned about Sassy.
What a day to join the team and stay.
And eventful. Yeah, you heard that and you went, this sounds right. This
sounds like the home for me for the next 5 years. Okay, good for you.
Well, since episode 5, and I knew I had a story for you. As a quick note, I was a zookeeper for a very long time and spent a lot of time working with big cats. Oh my, are you Carol Baskin?
Joe Exotic. Okay.
So let's get back to around 2015. I am living in an apartment with my 2 cats. Now I have to ask how big they are because they could.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. You really should have specified, Natalie. Like, obviously, the assumption.
I'm living here with my 2
my
cheetahs.
saber-toothed tiger.
And a dog, which at this point I think could be like a full-blown wolf.
Saber-tooth wolf.
Anyway, it's a normal night, and I'm jolted awake around 3:14 a.m. by a roar, a literal lion's roar. Is it your cat in the hall? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Is it your saber-tooth tiger?
It lasted about 7 seconds after I woke up, and I was just sitting in bed looking around the room with this deafening noise going around.
What?
And I felt it in my bones. If you've ever been beside a lion roaring, it makes your bones rattle.
Ooh, I guess I haven't.
To make matters worse, my cats bolted out of the room. My dog freaked out, and I was just sitting in bed thinking I was going to die. I like how they were all like, "Peace, bitch." Like this is
It's been real, man. Thanks
See
for the
ya.
treats. We're out. Well, they say cats like eat your dead body within like 2 hours of dying. They're like, cats have no loyalty. They're like, oh, this seems tasty.
For me to know that, like, one day if something happens to you in your house and I don't hear from you in a while, I'll just be like, you know what? Moonshine really handled it. And we both know
Moonshine and Juniper are having
it would
a
be
good
Juniper for sure.
For sure, Juniper.
After gathering my wits, I slowly crawled to the edge of my bed to look around, expecting there was a lion there.
Yeah.
Which, like, you have to be fucking scared if your thought process is obviously a lion is in my room.
Well, and especially if you were a zookeeper and you know what a lion sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Like, I could say that's a lion, but it's probably just like a truck outside. But you would know what an actual lion sounds like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Well, there wasn't a lion next to my bed, but I was so freaked out. The next day, I went to a cookout at my parents' house with them and my siblings. I'm telling them this insane dream I had when my sister turns ghost white and says, "Last night I dreamed we were on safari. The lights went out and then flickered on, and a lion grabbed you. And I woke up at 3:14 this morning."
No.
Is that not the craziest thing in the whole? I have full blown
Me too.
chills. Full blown.
Just choked on my own spit.
Oh my God. And then, hang on, Natalie says, it's happened once since. Just a few months ago, actually. It's still one of the most unexplained experiences I've ever had. And I've seen the Mothman. What a random sentence
And that's
to
a
end
story
on.
for another time. Okay.
Exactly. Love you guys so much. I can't wait to see you in Raleigh. All my love, Natalie. P.S. The zoo I worked at is hella haunted. It's built on an actual battleground, and we all saw full body apparitions, as well as I had a bucket fly across the indoor wallaby holding at me when no one was in there. All my love, Natalie.
I'm Googling indoor wallaby holding.
Okay.
See what happens. Should you keep wallabies as a pet? Okay. Well, I guess we could learn about that some other time.
But does that mean there were little wallabies in there and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden... I don't like
want
that.
us to get hit by a bucket. No offense. I'm glad it flew at you, Natalie, not the wallaby.
But okay, let's get back to this real quick. She woke up at 3:14. So did her sister,
Right. Same
both-
night.
who had a dream that she's being attacked by a lion. And at the exact same minute, she wakes up to a lion roaring next to her.
And the pets heard it too.
And the pets heard it too. So, like, really fully manifested.
And
this
they live
thing.
in different homes, I presume. So it's not like the sister roared in her sleep and accidentally scared everyone. Like, they're in different homes.
This feels very like Nightmare on Elm Street, where like you can bring your dreams out into reality by accident.
I've
like
never seen that.
You like.
Oh, is that Freddy?
That's Freddy.
Okay, yeah, I do sort of know about that.
And one of the ways that they had to like get rid of Freddy is because in all of the dreams that were being controlled by him, they can actually like because the dream is so intense, they can almost manifest what's happening in it. But the
Ooh.
problem is all the dreams are them being murdered, so they're
Oh no! What a catch-22.
And so when they're like, the way that they try to get Freddy is they try to like grab him in the dream and then have an alarm wake them up at the same moment where they can like pull him out of the dream and then kill him.
That's pretty cool.
But this feels kind of like that, where like you almost brought a whole ass lion out, you know? Like
Yeah, or your sister did. You were minding your own business. She's the one on safari.
Yeah, someone's conjuring something. I don't like it.
Gosh, that is spooky, ooky. What a start. Okay, so the next one I have is called, get this, Synchronicity March listeners episode. How my dead grandma probably told my husband to marry me.
Oh,
Ooh, my. Okay.
okay.
Go grandma, I guess.
Mhm.
This is from Lucy, she, her, and it starts, "Hi, all. I've written in this story before, but I feel like I can do it much more justice now. First of all, I love you both so much, and whenever I listen to you, I feel like I'm hanging out with old friends. Thank you so much for being so transparent about all of your health fussies."
My fussies. Yeah, trust me, I don't
Hence
even know if I
fussy.
could I don't know if I could shut up if I tried about them, but you're welcome.
You're so welcome for that. As I deal with many of the same TS sensory silly gang. I don't know what
Hmm.
that means.
TS. I don't know what TS is, but I also have sensory problems.
Christine. Thanks.
Hi.
No, just kidding. Hi. Hi to you too. No. Christine, you are such a beautiful mom. Aw, and I love how passionate you are about raising a baby who's going to kick ass one day. Yeah, if she ever gets into preschool. Okay, I'm over it. I'm a middle school history teacher and proudly the weird one. I love that. I love a weird teacher. I've worn a full on frog costume to school multiple times. And I love listening to you guys banter while grading, which is what I was doing when I realized you asked for more synchronicities. So let's crack into it. First of all, I have always been a little overly obsessed with Peter Pan. I
Hmm.
mean, 2003 Peter Pan. Come on.
Oh, Jeremy
I don't.
Sumter.
Oh, I have no idea. I figured you might know more about that than I do.
He like rocked every little girl's brain at the time. Look up Jeremy
Jeremy
Sumter.
Sumter. Oh, I
Peter
see.
Pan.
Yeah, okay, I see. I see what's happening here.
He was a little hottie patati. Everyone was goo goo gaga over him.
I see what's happening. Yeah, okay. Like so obsessed, I would open my windows at night in my very old childhood bedroom built in 1765.
Oh my god. That truly took
Well,
my breath
I
away.
know. I thought might be harming you there physically, giving you another fussy. Uh I
I
didn't.
can't I can't wait to use that word for the
I
rest of
know.
my life.
It's really good. Waiting for Peter to come because I wanted to visit Neverland. Well, when I was about 6 or 7, I remember very clearly walking to the car with my mom and randomly blurting out, "When I meet the boy I'm going to marry, he's going to give me an acorn necklace, but I'm not
Oh.
going to tell him to."
Wow. Okay, damn.
My mom, obviously confused, asked, "Well, how will he know to give you one if you don't tell him?" And then I said, "Oh, he'll just know." For
Oh.
context, in Peter Pan, Peter and Wendy exchange a thimble and an acorn as Peter didn't know what a kiss was, and Wendy wears the acorn around her neck like a necklace. When they're flying, the arrow gets stuck in the necklace, saving her life with a kiss. See, I don't know any of this.
Did you not watch Peter Pan growing up?
I did, but I also watched it again recently, and I was like, this is so troubling
Oh, well,
and
there are
racist.
it's
So
very problematic.
I was like, we're not watching this in my house, so we stopped watching it. But it's been years since I've watched the actual movie, and I remember it scared me back then, so I don't know. Okay, here we go. Blah, blah, blah. Well, flash forward to my sophomore year of college, and my boyfriend, who I met the first day of college, and I are celebrating my 20th birthday. What does he give me? An acorn necklace. I quickly
Hmm.
told him, not sure if I was too shocked or excited, but he just smiled and said, "Okay."
It's probably like, alrighty.
Fast forward to about a month after graduation, and I've worn this darn necklace every single day since he gave it to me. He proposed, and on the inside of the ring, he had a tiny acorn engraved, so I'd
Oh.
have my kiss forever. I'm gonna cry. We've now been married for 3 years, have a lovely doggo. He's my best friend and definitely my soulmate from another life. We've definitely been married before in a past life. It's weird how your soul can kind of just know someone so well before you've ever met them. I'm gonna cry. Eva, I thought the last one was a cry, the
I think
tearjerker.
did we read these in the wrong way?
Ah! Then, when you meet, it feels like the world finally makes sense again. To add a spooky side to this story, it turns out when my mom said goodbye to her mom for the last time after she passed, my mom didn't know what to do, but she knew she wanted to give her a gift to take with her. Before they brought her to the funeral home, they had placed her casket under an oak tree, and my mom grabbed a handful of acorns and placed them in her mom's casket.
Hmm.
Her mom always loved how acorns symbolized new life. We often think I am at least partially a reincarnation of my Gammy, who unfortunately I never got to meet. I'm even named after the lovey name that she always called my mom as a little girl. Oh my god.
What? Hold on, hang on, that's sorry. Keep going first.
Okay. Do you want to say anything?
My favorite grandparent who's passed was my Gammy, and she used to call everyone Lovey.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's a gammy thing or if this is my own synchronicity moment, but that's very sweet.
Whoa.
Anyway, I'm very happy someone else had a gammy who did the same thing.
Wait, that's really cute. So Lucy, I guess, was the Lovey name.
Oh, my gammy is just to call everyone Lovey.
I think because it says I'm named after the Lovey name she called my mom.
Gotcha.
And her name is Lucy. So that's a story of how my gammy definitely told my husband to give me a forever kiss so we could live happily ever after. I love you both so much and the whole crew, and I can't wait to see you live again. I've seen you 3 times so far, once in New York and twice in Atlanta. I was dressed as Norman Rockwell's Rosie the Riveter at your Atlanta Halloween show. That's so cute. P.S. New hyperfixations for you both. Oh boy. M, you need to check out the Savannah Ghost Pirates. They're Savannah's minor league hockey team.
You know I love a minor league team.
I know you do. Obviously, Lucy does too. I mean, knows that about you. Christine, you need to look up William the Hippo. He's the unofficial mascot of the Met, and he's a blue hippo with flowers painted on him that was found in an Egyptian tomb with 3 of his 4 legs broken off so he wouldn't try to hurt the person he was buried with.
Oh, that's definitely something to research in the middle of the night.
What the F? Okay. Love you all, Lucy. Holy crap, that was a lot.
A lot of information came at us, but I liked all of it.
To be fair, like she's been listening since 2017, so she clearly needed like
a moment
to just unleash all of this information, and I'm thankful about it.
Hippos and gammy and ghost pirates, yeah,
and you know, hockey. I think too.
It was a good time. It perfectly kept my dopamine levels at a high the whole way through. All right. Well, thank you, Lucy. Our next story is from Leslie, who's a she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns. And the subject line is Synchronicities Warning, How Social Media Saved Me.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Hello, Eva, M, Christine, fur babies, and literal babies. Actually, more like a toddler now.
I know.
Whatever
an uneducated toddler.
Okay, whatever the school version of unemployed is, baby.
She's between
classes.
Right yeah.
So for my own personal safety, I'm going to use the pseudonym Leslie, she, her pronouns. I like how even the pronouns could be a pseudonym. We don't know.
You never know. How sneaky.
I just listened to the February listeners episode and I wanted to share my story. I was listening to the story of the college student who was dumped by her boyfriend and the ghostly girlfriend. And I was brought back to 2018, the year of the Me Too movement, Meghan Markle joining the royal family, and floral everything. Oh, thank you. Thank you for bringing us all the way back. While I believe in synchronicities and looking for messages in the universe, I wanted to heed a warning that there is a fine line between spirituality and a mental health crisis, and I had the displeasure of straddling that line. Again, some of the details have been altered to protect myself. I was working full-time at a nonprofit where I could not make ends meet, so I started working part-time at a gas station. I would always make casual conversation with the customers, but there was one couple who I got along with and started looking forward to seeing on the weekends that I worked. One day, the girlfriend asked if we wanted to get drinks together. At this point, I'd been interacting with them for like 6 months, so I thought, hey, why not? We exchanged numbers and agreed to go out, and I'm getting goosebumps just writing this because it seemed so innocent at the time.
Oh, no.
All I knew about this woman was that she was older than me, and we both shared an adoration for fashion, specifically makeup. We met for drinks and talked for like an hour and a half about our motivations, interests, and our favorite go-to makeup brands. Everything was going super well until we transitioned to another bar. At that point, I asked for her social media. It was like the chipper mask she had been wearing was dropped, and she looked very concerned.
Most told people would be excited.
Yeah. Oh,
I would be your TikTok handle.
I know. I'd be like, we're gonna be friends now. She told me that I would change my mind about her if I saw her Facebook.
Ooh, okay, that's red flag.
That alone, I would have checked. You need a Christine in your life who in 3 seconds flat can figure out anything online, because
I would have already been on her social media. Like I would have even, I would have checked it out a long time ago, like a crazed person.
Speaking of which, Christine, you have some competition because there's this person on Facebook who like the comments will actively be as vague as possible, and then she will find people online.
Oh. Wait, on Facebook or on TikTok?
On TikTok, sorry, on TikTok.
Yeah, I follow her, and
of course you do. Do you know everything about each other?
No, I find it so fun to watch her because but I do feel like she's giving away all my secrets.
Yeah,
I'm
she
like, why are
gives
you
you
sharing this intel with the masses? Like, leave that. Don't tell them our secrets.
maybe she's also giving you some inspo, you know, for the
She
next
might, and
time.
I don't want to like step on her toes, but I've thought like that would be kind of a fun game to try. But I don't know.
I think she's already dominating that world, but
Yeah,
I do
she's fun to
think
watch.
she's a good time.
Hmm.
Anyway, you could use either that TikTok person or Christine on your side at this point.
Hmm.
Uh, she looked very concerned. She said that I would change my mind better if I saw her Facebook. At that point, I was very freaked out, but I kept my cool while my blood was pumping in my throat. What a really good description, because I've
Wow.
felt that exact thing before. She told me about how important our relationship was because we were both spiritually important.
Okay. Well.
She explained that she was Mary Magdalene
Oh dear God. Okay.
and she had lived in different periods of time. And I was actually happy. And by that, I was the physical embodiment of happiness.
Oh boy.
And I would always be in her inner circle, and in different lifetimes, we had been mother and child and lovers.
Oh my. Okay. You're just at the bar, like,
Been
check
like,
please.
what is going on in your drink right now?
Yeah. Seriously.
I listened and nodded as she explained that we were destined to be together and that we were actually living in a town that was spiritually important but would not say why. Were you happening to be in Bethlehem? I don't
Yeah.
know.
It was
Um,
Jerusalem. I didn't realize at the time. Were you in
um,
Bethlehem?
are you Jesus Christ? I'm
I mean,
confused.
there is a Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, so
Okay,
it's
that would actually
possible.
be that would be really ironic if this
It would be
actually
pretty
did happen.
weird. It would.
She explained that she had a few friends on Facebook, but none that she actually knew in real life, and that she used her Facebook as a journal.
Oh boy.
The people she interacted with on Facebook thought she was writing fiction, and she knew she would be alienated if she told anyone that she was actually writing her truth, the truth of the universe.
Oh boy.
I
It's
was
just like dangerous anytime someone says they know the truth. Like, because like nobody does. You know what I mean? Like anytime somebody says like I know all the answers, like that's a huge red flag.
Oof. I mean, you and I have talked about universal truth quite a lot, and how not that we're on that team, but we know a few people who truly believe in
That's
knowing the
true.
universal truth, and it's a little wild.
It's alarming.
It's alarming. I was respectful to her as she spoke. I nodded, I smiled, I was empathetic. After all, I was a caseworker, so I was used to putting on a mask too when speaking with people who I had to report due to my status as a mandated reporter. No judgment, just listened. This was different though because I didn't have the protection of my employer. I texted my partner to pick me up, pick me up, pick me up, come ASAP. I hid in the bathroom and told her I was having stomach issues. She knew that something was wrong and apologized, saying I was not ready for this awakening.
God.
My partner texted me that he was outside, so I said goodbye and headed out. On the way home, I found her Facebook and shook the entire time I scrolled further and further down her page.
What?
Christine.
What?
Christine.
What?
She had been writing about me for months.
Absolutely not.
Since the first time I interacted with her and her
No.
boyfriend. She wrote graphic details about our past lives together and how she was so excited to meet with me. I was understandably freaked the fuck out. I mostly blocked out what she wrote about me. Although she was really nice to me and seemed harmless, I was so scared. You don't write graphic details online about somebody you don't know for the internet to read. A week went by and I was at my best friend Ellie's house. I had not grasped the trauma of it all and I was about to leave when I mentioned it to Ellie. Ellie looked at me concerned and had me sit down and explain exactly what happened.
Yeah, I like that you were like, oh, okay, bye. And your friend's like, wait. No,
It's like,
sit down.
no,
What
no,
are you
no, no.
saying to me as you waltz out the door?
She's like, hang on a second. I had not checked my Facebook for some time, so I opened it and saw that she had been messaging me, apologizing for coming off too strong, but she knew we were destined to be together.
No.
Ellie calmly explained to me that she feared for my safety. I like that Ellie calmly explained that she feared for your safety, because I'd be like, homie, we gotta get
There's
out
no calm
of here. Yeah. She told me that this woman would keep chasing me, and she felt that the woman was rational enough to be respectful of a rejection because of how apologetic she was.
Mm.
Okay. She carefully crafted the text and had me press send. The message said I was not interested and did not want to be further contacted. The woman said she understood, but that did not stop her from posting about me for weeks afterward.
Oh my God.
I blocked her, but the page was public, so I was able to read it, and I would see the word happy with a capital H and knew it was about me.
Oh my God. That is so disturbing and scary and
I ca-
invasive.
oh, God. I called out the next few weeks from work and did not see her again. They eventually let me go because, hello, I refuse to come in.
I love that you did the passive thing I do where I'm just like, oh, well, if you want to fire me, you can. I'm not
Yeah.
going to quit, but I'll just stop showing up.
I have seen her in public a few times, but I am very talented and at Excel. Oh, no. It's not, sorry.
At Excel.
My girlfriend is talented at Excel.
Yeah,
She'll
no,
tell you all about
she
it.
is. She used to take Saturday morning classes, and I'd be like, no, I'm sleeping.
Okay, that was not, sorry. I
That's
was
hilarious.
primed. I was primed as someone who lives with Allison to say I'm talented at Excel. I have seen her in public a few times, but I am very talented and excel at giving a blank, faraway, distracted look. I hope someone, specifically her boyfriend, looked at her social media and realized that she needed help. I forget about it every once in a while, about how I was kind of stalked, kind of not stalked, kind of had someone obsess over me when I was only 25. Either way, I am thankful for Ellie for making sure I didn't just ignore the problem and write up a response for me. While I'm a very spiritual human, this interaction definitely altered how I make friends, use social media, and view my relationship with the universe. I have since recovered and went back to school for my master's, so I don't have to work multiple jobs. Thank you for all that you do. I've listened to y'all since the beginning, and I have celebrated your wins and mourned your losses with you, all while connected to Bluetooth.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You two are my cleaning buddies, and I loved seeing you live. Much love, Leslie.
Wowza. Ooh.
What a tale.
To just like meet someone and be like, oh, they seem perfectly friendly. Like I have a good friend now that I can go get drinks with. And then it just 180 so quickly.
I mean, I feel like that's how all stalker stories start, though,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Or at least most of them. Like, if you knew the person, you have no idea that,
And
you know.
it seems like such a innocent relationship, and you don't realize how one-sided that is. Like the other person doesn't see it as a casual thing. They see it as like such an intense,
well, especially if they
fated relationship.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of stalker stories also have like, the person has been watching you a lot longer than you've been watching them, and to find out that they've already created something before you even spoke.
They've created this wild relationship or this fantasy in their mind. And I mean, obviously she was unwell. So, I mean, I do hope somebody kind of stepped in at some point. But it's so fascinating to think like she clearly knew that if you saw the Facebook, you would be freaked out. So she was almost like aware enough that this was quote unquote weird. Like she was aware enough to know that it would come off too strong.
But yeah, I wonder what the gray space of that is, because she knew it was wrong in some way, but I don't know this person, but I feel like they really thought it was only wrong because it was too early to like give them this awakening.
Too much. Yeah.
Not because it was wrong that it wouldn't.
Right, because if they really believed it, then they would have said to themselves, this is fate, like it's destiny, whatever. And it sounds like they truly believed this story.
Yeah, it sounds like they were even on the fence of like, is this or it sounds like, maybe they knew it was wrong, but they didn't understand it on a human level. They understood it on their own, like, created level. It's so weird.
Wow.
Woo.
That's just a lot. That's a lot.
I'm glad you're safe.
I am too, and I'm sorry that happened. That, I mean, would scare me forever. I think I would be really, really, really freaked out by that.
I don't think I'd recover as well as it sounds like you have. So
yeah, seriously, I probably wouldn't go back to grad school to get my master's. I'd be like, no way, man.
I would just, any form of me on the internet would be so erased. It'd be bananas. I'd be like, no one's ever knowing anything about me ever again.
Don't come close anymore,
Yeah.
Wow. So scary to think people can just invade your privacy online without you even knowing, and just invade your privacy in such a specific way of like writing fictional stories about you. Ooh,
PSA in
creepy.
general, if you happen to be listening to this right now and you are, you know, creating a storyline in your head with someone you've never even spoken to, maybe just like be ready that they're not interested, you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I guess it's just like clarify where everybody else's boundary is before taking
and
it so
and
far.
then respect their boundaries also.
Right.
If you think like something really, is destined, and if someone tells you no, no means no. So let's just get that out.
That's their destiny. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Although
exactly.
it sounds like there was definitely some mental illness here, so I hope that I don't think
Gets
it.
cleared up also.
Yeah, I hope that that's been addressed. But oh boy. Okay, so this is from Molly, she, her, and the story is that one time all the synchronicities led me to a grave.
Oh my god.
Oh
Okay.
my, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. Hey, Christina M, Eva, and all the other, and that's why we drink family. My name is Molly, and I've been a listener for about 5 years. Wow. Get this, Em. I actually stumbled upon the podcast while looking for a self help podcast.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the
you
funniest thing I've ever heard.
you took a sharp left turn in the wrong direction, my friend.
You, Spotify or whoever, like completely misled you, okay?
The algorithm
Uh,
was not algorithming, you know.
it was not. So I was looking for a self-help podcast to get me through my days. I believe I searched for something along the lines of why, oh my God, Ev, it gets worse. Why quitting drinking is good for you.
Oh god.
I'm sorry. 5 years ago, especially, was not that vibe for me. So I don't know how you ended up where you did, but clearly the universe had other plans. Anyway, you two have gotten me through some of my darkest days, boring shifts, cleaning road trips, and many anxiety attacks. Yes, your banter can resolve my heart racing. I wish I could resolve M's. That would be nice.
Yeah, me too.
My heart racing, mind bending anxiety. So thank you for that. That's so nice. So, anyway, on to my story about the biggest synchronicity that ever happened in my life. The year was 1993, midsummer in rural Wisconsin. My next
Mm.
door neighbor and I, 10 at the time, were extremely bored. We did not feel like doing our usual, staring at Teen Beat or watching another episode of Saved by the Bell.
Why not? No.
Listen, I've been there when you're like, there's only so much Saved by the Bell you can watch in a row.
Yeah.
We have in the past dabbled with the Ouija board, but decided the
Mm.
sunny day just did not pair well with it, so we decided to do something else spooky. At first, we talked about the haunted silo down the road where a man supposedly fell to his death and then suffocated in the grain below. Oh, that's
Oh,
like a
I
worst nightmare thing.
have you seen like how scary being suffocated in a silo would be?
Yeah, I don't even know why that came up, but it was somewhere on my talk about algorithming. I'm like, why are you telling me this, internet?
There was something I learned about it in school.
It's horrible.
But
It's like drowning.
It's
You
like
just
drowning,
drown in the
and it's
product.
also dark, and it's so big and no one's hearing you. I mean, it's truly you're trapped. It's just
It's,
so.
I mean, an
Ugh.
honest to God nightmare. Okay, so we debated for quite some time to go visit the silo, but being 10, I think it was just a bit too much. We decided on making a scary skit instead, and we would perform it for our parents that weekend. I think this is me in a past, like in
I
the
miss
90s.
being 10.
I know this. I mean, we kind of do that already. We go on tour and perform a skit for people.
Actually, you know what? I
It's
guess
pretty
that's
on
true.
point. Like I feel like I'm living out my childhood.
When you take away all
fantasies.
the fun words of like live show on tour, it's like
yeah.
it's a skit.
It's a skit, and our mom is there, so it's literally we're performing our
That,
parents.
that might actually help my anxiety. So we're gonna try that
Honestly,
this weekend.
That's actually a good way to do it. I could bring a little camcorder and pretend like I'm directing you and screaming at you. You're messing up the moves.
What was your go-to performance?
Oh,
With I assume
geez.
Zandy was there as a kid.
Of course. Definitely something I picked. We did some S Club 7 music videos, quote unquote. We did we used to pretend to try to get on America's Funniest Home Videos by faking injuries that usually ended in real injuries. So they probably could have been sent to America's Funniest Home Videos. And then I Wanted That Way by the Backstreet Boys was a big. Oh no, sorry. What's that song? You Are My Fire. How does that go?
Uh,
What's the title of that song?
I want it that way.
Oh, that is the same song. Yes, that's the one that we would do music videos to. What about you?
It was only one song, and it was it was, oh man, Oh, I'm All Right by Jody Messina.
I don't even know that song.
It's a 90s country song. I'm obsessed with Jody Messina. I still love her. But we had moves for every word. I still do the moves when that song comes on.
Oh my God. I know. Isn't that funny? Every time I hear that Boys song, I'm like, I know the choreography. I mean, it's my own dumb choreography, but
Yeah.
wow. That's fun. I have to listen to that later and watch you dance for me.
Well, have a good time.
You're like, I'm busy later. Thank you.
I remember there always being this one part that I thought was so bitchin' in that song with my choreography, where it was sing it for my rent. Oh, sing it for my rent. Sing it for my supper. You swipe both ways with the microphone for that. Sing it for my rent.
Oh, sure.
Sing it for my supper.
Uh-huh.
Then I'm gonna narrate it out loud for the people who aren't watching us.
Okay.
And just listening. The line is, I'm above the below and below the upper.
Whoa.
And as a little kid, I would put my hand up. I'm above, and then put your hand down for below.
The below, sure.
And then shake your hand for below, and then go back up for the upper. So I'm above the below and below the upper.
That's
I thought
good.
I literally.
I'm above the below and below the upper.
That was my stepsisters are the ones that wrote the choreography, and since I was younger, I wanted to be like them. So it was actually 3 of us all. It's just harmonizing our moves with this. So
that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
I bet it was just gorgeous. I especially can't wait to see what you do for the line. You'd better grab a chair and a couple of beers.
Oh, that's easy. You pretend like you're pulling a chair out. Pretend you're pulling a chair out.
So it's just like
and then a couple of
lyrics.
beers. It's literally just acting out the lyrics.
Just acting out the lyrics. Looking good in your 3-piece suit. Man, I'm loving this.
Thumbs up good. Hold your shirt in your 3-piece suit.
So you're literally just like pointing around you.
I was like 5. Okay.
No, listen, I'm loving it. I should have figured.
Wow, we had a whole story we were in the middle of. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, but you said we filmed a skit and I just couldn't stop myself. I love that it's a haunted skit because that I feel like would be way more down my, like Celine and I definitely made haunted skits when we were little.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Because I lived next to a cemetery so we could film in there all day. It was like so easy.
Genius.
There are some of those somewhere. I have to find them. We did this often, whether it was dances or comedy skits. We were always performing. We had built a stage in her backyard. Actually, it was just a bunch of logs and old pieces of wood stuck together. But hey, we were 10. My neighbor suggested we write about the old cemetery about 1.5 miles down the street. Okay, this is starting to sound familiar to me.
Celine, have you written in?
Okay, it's Celine. No, it's not. And how the spirits come to life in the middle of the night. The cemetery was in fact very old, with some graves dating back to the early 1800s. As most preteens do, we got off course and had this elaborate story with witches and goblins and ghosts. We were so caught up in everything I was writing down that the day just flew by. Before we knew it, it was dinner time and I headed home. The next morning, I ran to her house to continue our masterpiece. We settled in and I pulled out the script. Asking her where we left off, I started skimming the paper. It was so good until I got to the bottom of the page. I stared at the paper for quite some time trying to figure out who wrote the name at the bottom of the story. There it was, plain as day, in the same pen I was using. You know, the cool ones with multiple ink colors that no matter how hard you tried, you could not use all the colors at one time.
Yep.
Yep. Anna Hansen. The name that was scribbled on the bottom of the page was written over numerous times, legible enough, but it looked like I had used my left hand and pushed the pen so hard against the paper that it almost went through the page. Anna Hansen. Oh my God, that is so creepy. My neighbor asked, "Who is Anna Hansen?" I told her I had no clue. Still bewildered, we continued on with our story. It was still morning, so we decided to hop on our bikes and take a field trip to all the cemeteries in the area. We lived in the middle of 3 of them. We decided to go to the one in our story first. We rode our bikes the 1.5 miles in blistering heat. By the time we got there, I was so parched, we decided to go sit in the shade by the trees that lined the perimeter of the cemetery. We grabbed our water, and made our way to the old oak trees that twisted around the cemetery boundaries. We plopped down inside in relief as the oaks shaded us from the mid-July heatwave. In the middle of me sloshing down my water, my neighbor nudged me. I pushed her back, and she nudged me again. Irritated, I said, "What? I'm thirsty. Let me drink." I looked over at her, and her face was as pale as a ghost. There in front of us sat a headstone with the name Anna Hansen. Oh my God.
Shut up.
Born January 1833, died July 1843.
She was 10.
Yeah. Oh my God. Neither of us could talk. I ripped the script from my backpack and couldn't even connect the dots. I tried to rationalize, but preteen brains cannot do that. How can this happen? How did Anna's name end up in our story? She was 10 when she died in the middle of July. Well, needless to say, we ran to our bikes, leaving the script behind, and raced home. We didn't really mention this happening for a long time. My neighbor never really dabbled in the spooky stuff anymore, but for me, it made me a lifelong believer. Back then, we didn't have the internet, obviously, and I really didn't go to the library to rent books about communicating with the dead, so automatic writing didn't even exist in my life. Once I learned about automatic writing, everything clicked. To be honest, I never tried it again. The main
Mm.
reason being is I did not even notice writing Anna's name, which made me feel like something else took control of me, so screw that.
Ew.
Many years later, after having children, I started recognizing that there was always a presence around my daughter since the day she was born. Nothing negative, more friendly and childlike. Still scary AF, but I like to believe it's Anna keeping an eye on her. Woo! I've got goose cam. Sorry for the long story. Wish you all well. Maybe one day I'll write in about the time I think my family was visited by aliens. End
But
of
that's a story for another
But that's
time.
a story. I'm telling you, these stories better come in someday. That is just wild.
Bonkers.
I just love that preteen brain of like, whose name is that? I don't know. Oh well, let's keep playing. You know, like totally ignore it until suddenly it comes back.
Meanwhile, the second we see Anna Hansen, I'd be like, Christine, and you'd be like, I'm on it. I already know her
I
blood
have
type.
43 Anna Hansens in the immediate vicinity. Which one should I call first? And by call, I mean email, passive aggressively.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone involved in that, Anna included. I don't know if you wrote the letter for all I know.
Oh,
So
gosh.
thank you everyone for that
Spooky.
email. The next one is written by Connie, who's a she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns. And the subject line is a synchronicity filled ghost story at a tiny college.
Mm.
Hi to Eva, M, Christine, Gio, Leona, Allison, Blaze, and of course, Lemon.
Hello.
Could have left that last part off. Hope you're all doing well. I'm Connie and you can use my name. Oh, thank God.
Well,
Okay.
that's good. Thank you.
First of all, I love you guys. You got me through my diagnosis with a mental illness and hospitalization. And your New York show in 2018 was my first time out after it all happened, and it made me so happy.
Oh, that's nice.
Thanks for always being the supportive voice in my ear. Christine mentioned she wanted synchronicities. Oh, it was your fault.
I
that we
sure
this.
did, apparently.
And I have a pretty strange one. This is a little long, but I promise it's worth it. When I was about 15, I was watching the Travel Channel and I caught the end of a documentary about haunted colleges. They mentioned a small college in Vermont where a young woman had gone missing on a trail and subsequently haunted the campus. The story shook me and stayed with me. Out loud, I said, well, I'm never going to go to school in Vermont. Fast forward 3 years later, I've fallen in love with a little school called Bennington. And by little, I mean there are 500 of us.
Oh my gosh.
And I was doing an overnight. Bennington happened to be, you guessed it, in the state of Vermont.
Uh-huh.
My overnight host, a very cool older girl with red hair who we'll call April, sat with me in her dorm and started telling me ghost stories about the college, including, dun dun dun, a story of a young woman who went missing on a trail and haunted the college. I started feeling chills and realized, yes, it was the same story I'd heard all those years ago. And when I came back to my orientation, the school put on a ghost tour for us, and they included the story of the girl who we call the White Lady. And then in parentheses wrote, there's always one.
There's always one, at least.
And she was played by April, the girl who told me about the story.
Way. That's so cute. I love this school. I want to go there.
Bennington sounds so fun.
I love it.
Halfway into my freshman year, April came running into our dorm while I was sitting in the common room. She told me she had just seen the White Lady as she had been walking down from the music building, which was another haunted spot, and she had been so scared that her and her friend started singing at the top of their lungs as they passed her. They described her as a white glowing form that glided past them.
Ooh.
Fast forward to senior year, and I had been through some growing pains. Having social anxiety and going to a college where everyone knows your name was definitely a struggle. To challenge myself, I signed up for a solo performance class where we had to write a creative monologue about ourselves and then perform it in front of the entire school. That truly just, I can't.
No. I'm sweating.
I can't imagine, but I also can't because it's called a live show, and it's
It's
just
called
still.
a skit.
Oh,
It's called a
sorry,
skit.
sorry.
Come on.
And at this point in my life, I felt a bit like a ghost, something that
Aw,
existed, but that people could look right through.
that is beautiful but sad.
I had the thought of looking up the White Lady and learning more about her. Her name was Paula Jean Weldon, and her and I had a
Mm,
lot in common. We were both awkward, shy around boys, unable to figure out what subject to focus on, and from the same area of New York. More
wow.
than that, we both seemed to yearn to be vibrant and popular and unable to figure out how to just be ourselves.
Mm.
To complete my monologue, I braided my life at Bennington with hers, and I told both of our stories. Oh, that's so creative,
I
though.
braided my life with her story. This is, wow, that's very beautiful.
I feel like you're a bit of a writer here,
Yeah,
Connie.
seriously.
As cheesy as it sounds, I don't think anyone had ever really told Paula's story before. We
Mm.
knew her as just a ghost we looked through and were scared of, but we discounted that she was once just like us, a student trying to figure things out. And back to April, the girl who introduced me to her. She became my best friend slash sister from another mister, and she sat in the audience that night hearing me tell the tale. That night, I took flowers April had given me to a spot we call the end of the world on campus, which is a hill that drops off so it looks like you're at the end of the earth.
Mm.
And I saw her.
No.
She was a glowing white form that floated in front of me and then went out into the night. When I got back to my dorm room, April was waiting for me. We were gossiping about our classmates and her life in the city, but then, seemingly out of nowhere, she looked at me and very confident voice said, "Paula loved it."
Oh my.
I have other stories about my school. It's pretty darn haunted, but I'll write about those another time. Best, Connie. P.S. I don't know if you guys are Game of Thrones fans, but Peter Dinklage was my commencement speaker, and I'm
What?
including the speech here. And yes, a student did hand make that weapon for him. I went to a wild school.
I'm so jealous I didn't hear about this school sooner. Um,
You know what was so weird? One of my, I think it was the commencement speaker before my year at college was my high school principal.
what?
Is that not the craziest thing?
Peter Peter Dinklage was your high school principal?
No, no, no. At
I'm
my
kidding. I'm kidding.
if only. No, but I remember hearing like who the commencement speaker was going to be, and I was like, that guy. I was like,
That's so weird. Why?
yeah, it was very weird. Or no, I have there's I'm messing something up, but somehow my high school and college lives
Braided
maybe
together.
maybe at high school my college president was the one who talked, but either way, both of them I was like, what? Why? It's like
What are
that's
you
so
doing
weird.
here?
I know it felt like a Degrassi reunion or something. So
Sorry, not as cool as Tyrion Lannister performing at your school, but
I agree. I agree.
just saying. Wow, what a powerful story. And to like the synchronicity of like seeing that as a kid, then being like, oh, I'm never going to Vermont. And then not only going to Vermont for school, but that school you didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's spooky. And then
Leash.
being roommates with the girl who plays the character in the reenactment. I mean, that's pretty
It's
weird.
all very spooky ooky, and it. I don't know. That's a lot of. That's like a synchronicity lasagna. You know.
That's right. That's what we call it over here. So this is from Cal, she, her, and yes, this is the one that I am assuming is going to make us cry if it's
Okay.
a boohoo day.
Uh-huh.
It's called 2 times synchronicities, dolphins, and that's why we drink.
Oh, okay.
What that? Listen, that I was not expecting. Okay,
No, is there a dolphin that listens to us? That's
I
crazy.
don't know. That'd be cool. Both of these synchronicities could certainly be explained as coincidence, but they are both moments that are very special to me. Every year, my family goes on holiday to the same beach in Queensland. It was my granddad's favorite place in the world. He had been going every year since he was a little kid. He literally went there every summer of his life. He loved to swim, catch waves, and especially to see dolphins, which happened very, very rarely at this particular beach. I distinctly remember one time when I was young, having dolphins swim up close to us in the waves, and my granddad turning to me and saying jokingly, "Are we sure they were dolphins? I only saw a fin." Oh, God, that's a mean joke.
Yeah, that's so mean.
That would like traumatize me forever. A few years ago, my granddad passed away, and while he had not left behind instructions on what to do with his remains, we all agreed he would like his ashes scattered on that beach. We scattered them in the water at sunset and then all went for a swim to catch some waves right afterwards, as I'm sure he would have wanted us to. During that swim, we were a bit quieter than normal, reflecting on his passing and the moment we had just experienced, when suddenly one of my uncles said, "There are dolphins over there." Everyone was in awe and enjoying watching them jump, except for my sister, who seemed a little anxious and turned to ask me, "Was it actually dolphins or could it have been a shark?"
Mm.
Aw. It immediately took me right back to that moment with my granddad, and I really felt he was there with us in that moment. So now he's like tricking the sister too. That's so cute. My second story happened only a week or two ago and centers around ATWWD. I'm currently, oh geez, in the grueling process of trying to get sober. Well,
Oof.
don't Google how to get sober. Apparently, it leads you straight to this fucking podcast. I'm currently, good for you, by the way. It's
Admirable.
very admirable. Yes, I'm currently in the grueling process of trying to get sober, and I'm also in the process of binging, and that's why we drink for the first time. One afternoon last week, I was suffering from some particularly strong cravings, so I decided to clean out my pantry and listen to an episode of your show to distract myself. I knew this was coming. I could tell.
What?
The episode I was up to is one from July 2019, in which Christine is attempting to re examine her relationship with alcohol, and you guys give a sweet little shout out of encouragement to anyone struggling with alcoholism and addiction. If you go to, oh my God,
What?
if you go to 2157 in episode 128, M actually says, "If you are out there and need a sign to keep going, this is it."
Oh,
That's beautiful. Good
thank you.
job, M.
I do what I can. That's nice.
That's beautiful. As soon as I heard this, I immediately burst into tears. Cravings can be very scary, as in the moment you don't know if you're going to give in and lose everything you've worked for or push through and be okay. In that moment, I felt like the universe was letting me know it had my back and wanted this for me, and that I was going to be able to stay strong. Happy to
Mm.
report, thanks to you guys, I went to bed sober that night, in part because that message found me at the exact moment I needed it most. Thank you so much for a fantastic show, which has helped lighten the mood around me, something I've really needed the past few months. Sending all my love and appreciation your way.
Aw.
Wow. I have
Well,
goosecam for
that's
real.
very sweet. Also, I don't know if who wrote this again?
This was
Cal.
from, oh, I forgot to say, oh no, I said it. Cal, she, her. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if she's caught up on the episodes yet, but hopefully by the time she hears this episode, she's still doing good and staying strong. So
Yeah, Cal, this is another shout out from the universe.
yeah, good.
Ooh.
For good measure, if you're having another rough day, or if anyone's having a rough day, this is your sign that
Here's
to keep
another
going.
sign. I mean,
Keep
I might
going.
take it myself. Yeah, take the sign and run with it.
Yeah, you're loved and safe, and the universe wants you to thrive. So keep it up.
And Gio just barked, which means he loves you too.
All right. Wow. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for your stories.
It's
March.
a powerhouse of stories today.
It was. That's Pisces season for you. So.
Oh God, classic Eva.
I know.
Oh, happy birthday month, Eva.
Happy birthday month, Eva, and happy birthday to all of our little Pisces babies out there.
Mhm.
And yeah, hopefully, March goes great. And next time you hear from us, it'll be April Fool's Day. I'll be with my favorite fool on the other end of the microphone.
And Leon will be 18 months old, the biggest fool of all.
And I'll be 4,000 days old or something.
Yeah.
And
That's
why
we
drink.